God damn it! They're eating the dogs.
We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies.
It burned when I urinated.
If you've been on the app formerly known as Twitter today, and yes, it's still Twitter to me, you've probably seen it. Republicans, and I'm talking about the far-right crowd, have been flooding the timeline with, wait for it, yassified photos of JD Vance.
Y'all going to excuse me just a second. I've got to go pee and then throw up.
And in case you're somehow not familiar with him, JD Vance is Donald Trump's running mate. And let's be real, he's a pretty strange dude. But here's where things get a little bit weirder. Representative Mike Collins of Georgia, one of those guys who absolutely lives for the chaos, actually posted an edited picture of Vance, making him look like a skinny legend. Those perfect high cheekbones and a jawline that could cut glass, and honestly into a man that I wouldn't hesitate to top. But like, why? Why? What's the play here? Is there some kind of secret strategy we're not seeing, or have they totally lost the plot? Your guess is as good as mine, but what I think happened is they don't find JD Vance visually appealing enough for the American people, so they had to yassify him up. And Republicans specifically seem to be very threatened by anything that's anything less than masculine, or what they perceive to be masculine. And they do not perceive round faces to be masculine. And this isn't to say that there's anything wrong with a round face, it's just Republicans are kind of twisted, and they have some pretty faulty beliefs. And honestly, I think they really do visualize themselves as these, perfectly, jawbone gods. It's weird. So what better way to celebrate JD Vance's perceived masculinity than to run his face through yassified filters? Absolutely iconic. All I can say is, Republicans are definitely not beating the weirdo allegations with this one. Not even close. But then I got to thinking, if Republicans can yassify JD Vance to make him look more handsome, I could definitely do better at yassifying him to make him look more yassified. So let's get to it. So first I have to start off by uploading his putrid face to Canva. And yes, I am using Canva for this because first of all, I don't feel like paying for Adobe Photoshop anymore, and Canva is just such a simple tool to use. And no, this is not sponsored by Canva, but it could be. Canva, hit me up. And of course, we are using his real face, not his already yassified face, because clearly I can do a better job and I'm about to prove it. And secondly, we need to find her the perfect pair of eyelashes, and I think I already found the perfect pair. These really do look at you and just cut deep and say, look, you better vote for me, bitch, or otherwise
I'm taking away your contraceptive rights.
Marriage equality?
Don't know her.
Thirdly, we have to get rid of these eyebrows. They are much too thick. And if we're gonna help President Donald Trump destroy the United States, we can't have thick eyebrows. There, do you see the difference? This is a queen I might vote for, but we still got some work ahead of ourselves. And as we're looking for the perfect eyebrows, which I do have to be honest, it took me a little bit to find because, we have to find the right ones that scream Vice President of the United States. But as I was doing this, I was also thinking what we were going to name this beloved queen. She can't be JD Vance forever. I mean, sure, it's a fine name, but we could do better, right? So I came up with the name Wanna Dawn. You might be thinking I chose the name Dawn for the first rays of sunlight that grace our presence every morning on this beautiful American continent. No. I chose Dawn for Dawn dish soap, because as vice president, we need to keep our reputation squeaky clean, and clearly JD Vance hasn't been doing that. Also, Wanadon kinda sounds like Iguanodon, and if you don't know, I am a paleontologist and I love dinosaurs, and Iguanodon happens to be one of my favorites. Also, JD Vance kinda looks like one.
It was scary. It was scary. It was really scary.
Anyway, I think I found the perfect eyebrows because Juana Dawn just seems like the kind of person that would kind of Sharpie them on anyway. Now, I love nothing more than a bearded drag queen, or a bearded dragon for that matter. However, Juana Dawn is neither of those things. She is going to be Vice President of the United States, and she needs people to take her seriously. But who's gonna take her seriously if she has this beard? Now, Juana Dawn doesn't have a beard. She just dates beards. So we need to get rid of it. Magic Eraser, you have done your job well. Now, she is really starting to serve, but how can we let the people know that she's ready to serve them? Oh, I know. Some pink blush ought to do. I should also bring down the transparency a little bit to make it a little less opaque and just a little subtle, because subtlety is everything. And if you're a Republican, you know you gotta be subtle with those hints, otherwise people are gonna find out about you sooner than later. And we really would prefer them to find out later, especially after the election. Now, we know that Republicans love their filters, so of course we're gonna give Juana Dawn one too. I decided to go with a filter that screams, I am a white American, and I only tolerate other white Americans. If you're brown,
You can't sit with us.
okay, I think I did find the correct filter for this one. It really just screams, if you ain't Aryan, we ain't marryin'. And that's exactly what Juana Dawn would say. Now, you might be saying, but Daddy, JD Vance has an Indian wife, like why would he be racist? And I would say, JD Vance does, but Juana Dawn doesn't. But let's also not forget that this is the same man that shared a story about his mom being upset that people labeled his children as being biracial, which, Jan, they are, apparently saying that they should just be seen as his baby. And, worse yet, Vance actually uses this story to push a colorblind approach, saying people should just focus on being American rather than race. Jan, what are you talking about? This is extremely hypocritical, especially since his own kids do have biracial identity, which he downplays time and time again. Ignoring their racial background overlooks the importance of recognizing and embracing their heritage. And it suggests, in my view, that Vance, undermines the value of diversity, despite his own family being an example of it, which just goes to show that just because you marry someone of a different race does not mean that you cannot hold innately racist views.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Okay, I really love the blush, but, Juana Dawn is missing something, so I decided to give her some eyeshadow. Not just any eyeshadow, blue eyeshadow, because I am going for a very patriotic look. And what's more patriotic than good old red, white, and blue, like the Jack Union of the United Kingdom. Juana Dawn is looking pretty fierce, but still not quite fierce enough. Not fierce enough to help lead a country into devastation. So we're gonna give her some more eyelashes, but under the eye this time. Okay, when I hear the word divine, this is precisely what I think of.
Kill everyone now! Condone first-degree murder!
Next on my list is the hair. Now, the hair is super important because this could be the Vice President of the United States. Hopefully not, but if she is, she has to have a hairpiece that says, I am ready to destroy this country. Now, this green wig is fine, I guess, but it gives off more clown energy rather than putting the back into country. I'm also not really finding anything that I like right in Canva, so I might have to go to Miss Google for help. And honestly, I think I might have found a few options that I actually like, but we will get to that in just a moment. First, we gotta remove JD's hair. I never really liked his hair, to be honest, and I think Juana Dawn could do so much better, so let's remove this. Yeah, there we go, already looking 1,000 times better. Now it's time to try on some wigs, and honestly, I found a few good ones. I found one that screams, I want to speak to your manager, please. But that is not the language of a vice president, is it? Honestly, I'm looking for more of a Jan Brady. This one was also okay, but I didn't really like the frosted tips. Now this wig screams, Masha, 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 and this is exactly what I was looking for.
Ow, my coochie.
Oh my god, girls, we are getting there. But honestly, we do have to add some of the hair behind the wig to make it look a little more natural. Now, I have a process to do this. I'm going to use the magic grab to grab his face and bring it to the forefront. Then I'm going to copy and paste the wig and kind of like cut it out a little bit and then move it to the background and just kind of like, I don't know, darken it a little bit to make it look like it's definitely behind and casting a shadow. Now, Wanda Dawn strikes me as the type of person that would definitely have a piercing in their face, and not just any piercing. We need some genuine, precious stones. I was thinking of a diamond at first, but honestly, a diamond isn't patriotic enough. What would be more patriotic than a diamond? A genuine blue sapphire from Sri Lanka. That just screams patriotism. So we're gonna do that. Now that we got that out of the way, all that's left is finding lips. But they can't just be any lips. They can't be pink, they can't be orange, they can't be white. They have to be red. Redder than the reddest rose. We have to put the reddest rose to shame, okay? And frankly, we need lips that scream, I am against abortion.
Not because I care for the children, but because if we ban abortion, then that cuts off my main food supply.
And frankly, these lips don't say that. These lips say, I suck harder than Horace Horsecollar.
I don't either, and I might need to get a restraining order. This is getting real serious. Girl, that's my demon laugh. Ciao.
Kim Kardashian!
Oh my god, we found them. Move over, Baba Yaga. I am here to feed on the children. And of course, I had to add a yassified hand for good measure, and also a couple bows here and there just to play around. Ah, yes. This is exactly what I was looking for. If this doesn't scream Roseanne Barr singing the Star-Spangled Banner at Jack Murphy Stadium in 1990, then I don't know what does, my fellow Americans. I also feel like swapping out that yassified hand for two real ones, with nails that are a little bit more realistic and red, something that we're going for, something very patriotic. And two is better than one, especially if you're a bottom. Isn't that right, Horace Horsecollar? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you future Vice President of the United States of America, Wanda Dawn. But hopefully not. Okay, this is obviously a lot different than what I usually do on my channel, but I felt like it was necessary, especially with some of the bullshit that JD Vance and Donald Trump are pushing in American politics. If you like it, obviously hit like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments. And if you would like me to continue the series where I yassify anti-gay politicians, I would be more than happy to do so. If there's any that you can think of specifically, let me know down in the comments. And always, consider supporting me on Patreon or Ko-Fi. Ko-Fi specifically because they take less fees and, you know, iOS users don't have to get charged an extra 30%, so that's always a plus. And I would love to do this a little bit more regularly.
Just do as I tell you, Twink. Okay.
Additionally, I am working on a Halloween special, and also watching an old Christian propaganda cartoon that personally I loved as a kid and was kind of my gay awakening. So if that sounds like something you definitely want to watch, you should definitely subscribe and hit that notification bell. And I hope to see you soon.